It's a very hard truth, but whenever you become aware of a habit or routine that you're doing that is not serving the type of person that you want to be or the kind of life that you want to lead, and you make a choice to continue to do that thing, you keep doing it, you're actually choosing to stay in the life that you have now. And there is no judgment with that. I do this to myself still to this day over and over, and I speak to many clients who find themselves in the same cycle. But you are able to break free of this choice, this cycle of choice of doing things that don't really serve you, and it's not creating the life that you want, and it is creating frustration. So I want to welcome you to Unleashing Happiness. I am your host, Cecilia Hendricks, and today we're going to talk about actually setting up your environment and your morning and evening routines to give you the best chance of success and to start breaking these habits that you currently have. This episode is part of the series that I have been doing over the last few weeks. That's a countdown from 2024 to 2025 and making sure that you are really creating like this environment and this cycle for you to set yourself up for the most success to truly become the person that you want to be. So 2025 has every opportunity to be your year. I can like truly feel it in my bones that this year is just going to be absolutely remarkable. And I cannot wait to connect with as many people as possible so that we can all kind of cheer each other on and learn how to really expand into the people that we want to be, expand into having the types of habits and lifestyle and routines that we want to have that just make us feel good, right? Like we should be enjoying life. We should be finding things that bring us fulfillment in our everyday. A friend of mine recently posted to her Instagram that she really hopes that her children look back on their childhood and look back on their time with her and realize that she loved them so much, that she absolutely adored them and loved being their mother, but that some days she is just overwhelmed and she's tired, and it can become a lot, to figure out how to find yourself in those types of moments when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling wiped out, when you're not really being fulfilled outside of certain aspects of your life. Like I've shared on here before, and I'll continue to share that I have always loved being a mother. Like I felt very fulfilled in that aspect. But then I would look around my house and I would have piles of laundry that were not getting done, dirty dishes that were sitting out. My house felt cluttered. My bed wasn't being made. And it's all these like little things that's like, so what, your bed wasn't made? And yeah, some days I don't care. So what, my bed didn't get made. But I have realized that by expanding into the person that I want to be, taking better care of myself, and making sure that my environment, my morning and my evening routines out of the top three, right, are set up for me to be the most successful. They're actually set up for me to feel the best when I'm in my own environment. And I can feel the overwhelm, right? Like we're getting up to Christmas, and yeah, my kitchen has been a disaster for the past 2 days. I'm like baking cookies, I'm getting stuff prepared. And I finally just took a look around and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like it creates this overwhelm feeling. It creates this frustration feeling. And it's hard to be the person that you want to be in that type of environment, especially when you have this like low level of anxiety that's kind of always right there underneath the surface. And so part of what we're going to talk about today is how to spend a little bit of time making sure that you're setting up your environment, that you're creating a morning routine that actually sets you up for the best day, right? Like with the productivity and feeling good, and truly like the way that your dopamine is being set up and the focus that you're working on, and making sure that you're loving yourself and that you're giving yourself the attention and the time to be the person that you actually want to be the person who feels good each day. Or at least for the most part, right? It's not to say that you're never going to feel down or that you're never going to have moments of being frustrated, but you can actually give yourself the tools to make sure that you're able to emotionally regulate that nervous system, calm yourself, and refocus so that you can choose the way that you react. And I'm telling you, this starts with your environment and it starts with your morning routine. And I always say you can't have a solid morning routine if you don't have a solid evening routine. Trust me, I've tried many times to only focus on the morning routine. It doesn't really get me very far. So I want to start first with your environment, right? And different people thrive in different environments. It doesn't bother me to have a little bit of mess. I tend to have books that pile up. I read it like all the time, but I have noticed that too much mess or too much clutter or too much pile up can really start to affect me, right? It makes it very difficult for me to focus. It makes it very difficult for me to stay on task. So one of the first things that I'd like for you to do when you're done listening to this episode is pick one area of your house. And I'm going to give you a recommendation, pardon me, of what that area should be, but you get a pick, right? Like take a look and I just want you to pick one area. And that one area you're going to set up for you to be the most successful version of yourself. Whatever success looks like to you. Okay. So my recommendation is always the nightstand and what you see when you first open your eyes in your bedroom. So when I open my eyes in my bedroom, I can see like my dressers. I've got a big money tree, and then I can also see my nightstand. And if those areas, especially the nightstand, are really cluttered, I have found it's more difficult for me to wake up and start the morning routine that I know is going to make me feel better for the day. So I have found that when you spend less time on your phone earlier in the morning or a computer, any kind of screen, the longer you can delay getting on that screen for anything, I usually just check the time and then that's it, the better off you're going to be throughout the day. Your productivity is actually going to be better. You're going to be able to pay more attention. And I'm telling you, when you first start this, it may feel really, really uncomfortable. But so when you look at that nightstand, what is some of the first things that you see when you open your eyes? If it's really cluttered, it's dusty, it needs to be cleaned, and your phone is just sitting right there and you know that you struggle with your phone, I want you to clear that spot off. Take 10-15 minutes today, right now, say, I am making a choice to show up for myself and I'm going to get this area set up better for me. Maybe for you, it's actually your desk, right? You're like, man, my desk is so cluttered and I need to be able to focus on work and I can barely even see where to put my computer. So maybe you make a decision to say, for my environment, I'm going to go ahead and clear off this desk. I want to get it completely cleaned. And what I recommend doing and what works well for me is if I work in sections and I actually have to tell myself, I'm not going to move on until this section is done. So if you are anything like me, here's kind of how my cleaning tends to go. I go downstairs and I get the cleaning supplies, right? I'm going to do my desk. I go upstairs and I say, okay, I need to actually go put these magazines away. Oh, but when I'm putting the magazines away, I totally forgot that I didn't wash the hoodie that I want clean. So I'm just going to go grab that really quick and I'm going to go pop it into the laundry room. And so or into the washing machine. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to set the magazines here on the banister going downstairs. So that way I can grab them when I'm on my way back. But then on my way back, I forget to grab the magazines. And then I go to my desk and I'm like, you know what? Maybe like my computer's right here. I'm just going to check Facebook really quick. And you guys, I am being very honest right now that this is truly how I work. This is truly how things go. So I'm being very open and vulnerable that this is the way that my mind literally works. So I'll open the computer and I'll check Facebook and then I'll say, oh, you know what? Actually, maybe I should just check and see if I can't remember if I set up my newsletter to send out to my email list today. And I really want to make sure that I get that out to them. I've got these action tips that I wanted to give them for some mindset, mindfulness that they can do this weekend. So I want to get that set up. So then I'll go in and I'll say, oh, no, I didn't do that. So then I'll go ahead and I'll start to set it up. And then I look at the clock and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's already 11 a.m. I need to go make sure that my mom is up because she has an appointment at 12:30. So I need to get her ready. So then I go to walk over to get my mom and I realize, oh my gosh, I left the magazine sitting there. So I wake up my mom, grab the magazines, then hear that the washing machine goes off. So then go to put that stuff in, set the magazines down, put that in the dryer, go set the magazines down, and then leave them somewhere else. And I'm telling you, by the time it's all done, my desk is not clean. And then I leave the cleaning supplies sitting on the desk. So now I've actually added clutter to the desk. Instead of removing it and taking it away, I've added it. So if this sounds anything where you're like, oh my gosh, you are all over the place and I can hear myself in that, I'm telling you, one, you're not alone. And two, that's why I work in sections. And I've actually told myself, no, you're going to do it step by step. So when I work in these sections, I can say, okay, the first area I'm going to clear is the top of the desk. Anything that needs to be put away, I'm going to go put it away. If something pops up into my mind, I will have a piece of paper and I'll just jot it out, right? So that would be like, put the hoodie in the washing machine. So I'll jot that out and I'll say, I'll get that done when I'm done. I will also set a timer for myself. So I'll say, okay, I've got 15 minutes to get this task done. And so then I know that I have a time limit to get this desk cleaned off. And I'm telling you, this has really made a difference. And I'll say too, the procrastination of jumping from item to item is also definitely a habit, right? So that's a habit that I have created, and I'm able to give myself the tools so that I can make sure that my environment is set up for me the best by using a timer, making sure that I'm working in quadrants, having a piece of paper and pen so that I can write things down so that I don't get distracted. And I have found this has helped me out quite a lot. And I'll even tell myself at the end of the 15 minutes, you can have a 5-minute break to go do whatever you want, but I need to get this done, right? It's important to me. I want to have this done. So that is definitely the first recommendation, is to find an area in your house that is not conducive to the type of life or the type of person that you want to be, right? Whether it's a really messy dining room table and you got mail that's all over the place. All right, let's tackle that, right? If it's the first thing you see when you walk in the door and it makes you just feel overwhelmed and roll your eyes and frustrated, let's get it done. Pop on a podcast, pop on some upbeat music, give yourself a timer, and let's focus on that activity. And then you do these one by one, right? You can give yourself even a weekly or daily goal to say each week or each day, I'm going to do one small area, and it's going to be 10 minutes. I'm going to give myself a 10-minute timer, and that's what I'm going to work on. And you can work in sections throughout the house. I actually employ this as well with my kids. So after dinner, it's called a 15-minute cleanup, where I set a timer on the Alexa. Everybody we clean up the kitchen, put the food away, get the floors swept, etc. And then it's not just one left on me. And two, all of us know we've got 15 minutes and then we're done. And it gets to the point now where we need about 8 of those 15 minutes. And I share this just to say that I realize that women, especially, is where I kind of see it a little bit more. If I'm going to be honest, we should not have to constantly be asking for help around the house. Like, it's everybody's responsibility. And I even hate saying help around the house, because you're not helping me. You're living here and cleaning up, right? Like, all of us need to be pitching in on this. This is a responsibility of everyone who lives in a home. But you can help build those habits within your own family, especially if you're working on your own self-development and your own self-improvement. You can bring them along with you. Encourage your kids to start noticing the things that need to be done. And it's never going to be perfect. I know that I'm not perfect. And so I really encourage them to start paying attention to the ways that they can be helpful. So it's like, you're not helping me because it's my job. You're helping me because you would want to, one, and two, because we all want to live in a clean home. That was a little bit of a side tangent, but I definitely think it's important to start communicating your needs, right? Start communicating the things that you want. When you're going to be changing your life and you want to expand into becoming more of the person you want to be, you should be sharing that with the ones that are closest to you. So if you have a spouse, a partner, children, parents that you live with, even a roommate, to be like, you know what? I need to make a change in my life. You can say, I feel very overwhelmed in this situation. I'm feeling very overwhelmed and not really fulfilled in the life that I'm currently leading. And I believe that these things would help. And so I need XYZ. I need us to set up a habit of doing a 15-minute cleanup after dinner. I need your support while I create a life that I feel more fulfilled, more joy, and more happy in. And I'm going to tell you that while you can find all of the information you need to make these changes online, I definitely have shared every piece of information you could ever need to make sustainable and positive change in your own life through my podcast and through my YouTube channel, especially. It is all out there for you and available. But if you're looking for guidance and somebody to truly help you through this process, set it up for you so that you know, here's my first step, my second step, and have that like coaching and support and a community to rally around you to really help you expand into being a person who feels better in their life, feels happier, feels more fulfilled. I definitely want you to check out my 6-week course that's launching on January 2nd. I can hardly wait for this. It truly is setting you up with a process and group coaching so that we are always together. It's live sessions. You can contact me at any time so that you can actually start to become this person and change the habits that you have and start breaking some of these old thought patterns that are really holding you back. So I'll leave that link down below. You can also find information on my website, ceciliahendricks.com, and you can reach out to me if you have any questions about it. It's unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com. So your next step this week is I want you to think about the things that you want to get done in the morning. Right? If you take a look, and there's things that I would recommend, which is making sure that you step outside and get some morning light, get movement for your body, drink water, do a breathing exercise and meditation, visualize on your goals, write out the things that you want, set your intentions. There's tons of stuff that you can do, but I want you to write out the things that you want to get done in the morning. Do you want to read 10 pages of a book? Do you want to learn something new? Do you want to start a new, yoga or Pilates practice? Do you want to start going to a workout class? I want you to list the things that you want to get done, and they can be anything, right? It's all about the things that you feel that you want to get done, and think about the time that you have to get it done. If you are currently only waking up and like rolling out of bed and rushing around, I'm going to recommend and highly, 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 highly encourage that you start to train yourself to wake up a bit earlier before you have to leave or before you have to get the kids up or out to school, whatever it is. So I naturally am an early riser. This makes it a little bit easier for me. If you are not, I would do it in 15-minute increments. So let's say you have to be out of the house by 7:30, but you are waking up at 7:10 and like rushing around to get ready. I want you to start building that up. Can you start waking up at 6:55 and then put it back to 6:40 and then put it back to 6:30 so that you can give yourself a little bit of time in the morning to focus on the things that you want to focus on. And it does not need to be some wild and crazy morning routine, but if there are some things that you can do to kind of set yourself up for the best day, and one of those, the number one thing, if you do nothing else, stay off of your phone. Spend at least an hour in the morning away from your phone, away from social media, away from the computer. Spend that time instead on you. Like, I love to unload my dishwasher. I don't really love it. Actually, I kind of hate it. But I unload my dishwasher while my coffee is brewing. The reason why I say I love it is because it sets up the day to know that the dishwasher is ready as dishes kind of continue throughout the day. It takes almost the perfect amount of time for my coffee to brew, for me to unload the dishwasher. And I just feel like I've gotten something done. Like, I feel productive. I'm staying off of my phone. I can play like Christmas music while I'm doing it, or a podcast through my Alexa. So I like doing that. It's still something I dislike because I don't like unloading the dishwasher, but I do like the reward that I get within this habit of making sure that that activity is done. So that is, something that I would list out on mine, is getting the dishwasher unloaded. So then I want you to take a look at your evening routine. How could you set yourself up in the morning each night so that your morning actually goes well? Like, for me, it's making sure that I run the dishwasher, making sure that the kitchen is picked up because I like to come down to a clean kitchen. Another one is making sure that my affirmation and gratitude journal is out and available and I have a pen ready. I also make sure, especially if I've fallen back into a habit, this is a habit I have to work work on over and over of getting on my phone too early in the morning, I'll put a sticky note on my phone that reminds me, like, stay off the dang phone. I may put a sticky note on my mirror to remind me to do my mirror affirmations and do a breathing exercise really quick before I go downstairs. When I want to get a workout in, I will set out clothes that are available right away on my bathroom counter. There's no way that I'm going to miss them. It's ready to go. I have no decisions that I need to make in the morning other than following through with what I said I was going to do. And I don't want to let past me down. If past Cecilia put out those clothes, I should honor her by putting them on and going and doing my workout, right? And that's just something that I have built for myself. And so when you look at this morning routine, what is something you can do in the evening to set yourself up for success? And you can start really small. If you want to start doing self-care, can you then put out stuff to wash your face first thing in the morning? Can you do some mirror affirmations to be kind to yourself? So maybe you write those on the mirror. You leave a sticky note with those on the mirror. Maybe it's to drink more water. So you put a glass of ice water on your nightstand so that when you wake up, you see it and you do that. Staying off your phone. You can start really small and build up to more. And I'm telling you, the more that you do this and the more that you expand into it, the more you become the type of person who holds an identity that shows up for themselves and is constantly improving and is really enjoying their life and getting more fulfillment. And so I just really encourage you to build on these things each and every day. How can you be 1% better tomorrow than you were today? How can you better align to the person you want to be today than you did yesterday? And the more that you focus on this, you can't help but to start becoming that person. The more you ask yourself that and actually show up, the more that you just start to truly step into the life that you want. Like, you don't really have a choice. Your identity starts to change because of the actions that you're taking. And then you start to reap your own destiny. So I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you will put this into action. Don't wait, do it now. Unless you're driving, then wait till you stop and then do it then. If you have any questions, again, you can always reach out to me via email by using Unleashing. I don't know why this has been so difficult to me. Side note, I have tried to record this part 4 times. I say my email all the time. And for some reason, I'm just like having a moment. So hopefully you get a kick out of that because I certainly did. I'm laughing at myself. My email is unleashinghappiness@ceciliahendricks.com. And you can always shoot me a note there. So I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful Christmas week. Oh, and make sure that you join me next week. It is my 100th episode. I cannot freaking believe it. I am so excited. 100 episodes. I seriously, I cannot believe that I have done almost 100 episodes. So I love doing this podcast. I love showing up for you, and I hope that you enjoy it as much as I do. I wish you, again, nothing but the best and have an absolute beautiful holiday week. And I will be back next week for the big 100.